I don't know why you did that.
Oh man, we are live, people. Man, we are live in full effect. Let me see what. Yeah, let's change up the screen and get. Oh shoot! Bit of background there. Wicked. What's happening? Everyone's a pundit. Episode 71, and we got a lot to discuss today, boys. A lot to discuss. Usually, we just chat Premier League, but there's so much more to get our teeth stuck into today. So you know what? Because we got a lot to get into, let me not ramble on. Let me just introduce the guests, starting with our new. Well, no, not new. He's returning. He's a returning. He's studio. He's back again. Please introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm T Dot, co-host of the PTTW podcast. Weekly podcast that we do as well. So it's a pleasure to be back on Views with yourself, Semps, Patrick as well. You know what I mean? Thanks for having me back on.
Wicked.
What does PTTW stand for? Just in case.
Last time I should have learned.
Yeah, but it's just so that people that haven't, they get familiar with you and your brand.
Play to the Whistle podcast. So weekly podcast, talk about football, Premiership, all of them kind of things. So yeah, man, give us a listen as well.
Wicked. Yeah, I wasn't on the last time you was on, so it's good to be on with you today, man. So our other resident pundit is in the house as well.
Yes, what's happening, people? It's your boy Patrick Tyrant, aka Young Swaggy Daniels. When you see the T, you see the P. When you see the P, you know it represents T. Let's go.
So I'm gonna round up and give a bit of a rundown on the Premier League.
You know, it sense. Come on, introduce yourself.
Everybody. This is it's about you, man, innit? You lot make the show. I'm in the background. So yeah, Friday we had a game, a Premier League game. Everton drew 2-2 with Tottenham, so we'll discuss that a little bit today. On Saturday we had a blockbuster. Newcastle beat West Ham 3-2. And Wolves also, they beat Sheffield United, and Sheffield United are now officially relegated. They weren't relegated last week, Pat. You jumped the gun, boy.
I know. Sorry, I jumped the gun, but they are now. They're down and out.
They're officially relegated now, man. And then today, Arsenal drew 1-1 with Fulham, and they celebrated that equaliser, like say they just got into the Champions League or they just won a trophy. We need to discuss that. Man United beat Burnley 3-1 at home, and then the other Premier League game is Leeds and Liverpool tomorrow. But we did have FA Cup this weekend, and as we all know, Chelsea have stopped. Yeah. T Dot is gonna give us his rundown. He's smiling, he's happy. Chelsea stopped the quadruple. And a lot of people thought it was on, boy, but it's done now. That chat done. The real treble's done because you have to have the FA Cup in there. So well done to Chelsea. We'll discuss that. And then today Leicester beat Southampton, so we've got a Chelsea and Leicester FA Cup final, and Chelsea very much are the favourites for that. So you would expect Chelsea to win that, but we'll get into that as well. There's been a lot of talk about this European Super League. Now I've got it on Sky Sports, but I'm really not able to multitask and talk to you lot while listening to Sky Sports. So you lot are going to have to update me if anything is said, because there's meant to be an announcement at 9:30 today with regards to this proposed European Super League. So I don't know. We're going to discuss that, gents, first, because we'll it seems like it's a bit of a madness. Everyone's going crazy about it. All of the groups are talking about it. Twitter's talking about it. There's a proposed European Super League, a breakaway league that, English top clubs, the 6 top clubs are looking to go away, along with Barcelona, Real Madrid, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus to this new European Super League. But it's not going to be in conjunction with the Champions League. UEFA saying if you're in this, you're not playing in the Champions League. Premier League saying that you can't play in your domestic leagues as well. Also saying that the players who play in this could potentially not play for their national teams. So, Pat, I don't know how much you know about this. Give us your take on what
Yeah,
you think
I
so
know a
far.
little bit more than you, Semps. I mean, it's all quiet. It's all just come out of nowhere. I say nowhere. It's come out today, pretty much, and everyone was going on. It's been the talk in the WhatsApp groups, like you're saying. Atletico Madrid are also on there. Ironically, PSG, Bayern Munich, and Borussia Dortmund have all turned down the proposal.
I said
They're,
no. Yeah.
they're all basically saying they wouldn't do it because it basically nullifies their league and pretty much the competitive aspect of qualification for a Super League, which essentially right now is the Champions League. So yeah, so Vibesman, the Super League is essentially a proposal for the super teams in Europe to play back to back all the time. And it pretty much means that the big six, the established big six, your Spurs, your Arsenal, your Man United, your Chelsea, your Liverpool, and Man City will essentially branch off Premier League and then play these blockbuster ties. The attraction from a financial standpoint is that each team is guaranteed a minimum of 300 million a season before balls even kicked. That's not even with extra sponsorship deals. That's not even with bonuses and everything else. So you can imagine how appealing that is to your Daniel Levy's and your Glazers and your FSGs or whatever you want to call it. So, but the thing is, it just kind of, it basically shits on everything that football stands for in terms of grassroots football, the chance of, you know, I mean, like, if we're being real, Tottenham, Arsenal, they're not even doing well enough to be guaranteed an automatic buy into this type of competition right now. And the fact that no one can get relegated or bought in and this and that, it's just a set basically it's a set league for all the bigwigs, but a lot of these bigwigs ain't really doing it right now. And even Juventus, they're fourth in their league at the moment. So it's great for their owners and this and that. And even as a fan, from a selfish standpoint, it sounds good. But when you really deep it, we don't even deserve to be there right now. So it's a bit of a mad one. I don't think it will go through. I just think there's too many ifs and ahs. And, you know, I mean, that as you said, Sems, the fact that they're saying if you play in this, you can't play international football, you can't do this, you can't do that. Players will be like, whoa, do you know what I mean? Your Harry Kanes, your Mason Mounts, your, I don't know, Bruno Fernandez's, all your star players who want to play in the top tournaments, European World Cups. Yeah. Why would they want to do that? So there's a lot, you know, it's literally just come out of nowhere. Gary Neville was going in. He didn't have positive things to say about it. Even I was watching the coverage of the FA Cup game, Leicester versus Southampton, and Rio Ferdinand wasn't happy and he gave a scathing report. But to be fair, right now, I don't know that much. I've just literally been scrambling and trying to find out bits and bobs. So I'm pretty much on the same standpoint as you guys. I don't know enough. But yeah, Jerry United, the figures are crazy. But football has been ruined a long time ago. I mean, as a Spurs fan, I see what Daniel Levy's about. He's not about winning trophies. He's just about financially making Tottenham a bigger club and a juicier prospect. If he had the same drive as your Roman and Abramovich's, I would be a happy fan right now. So I understand where he's coming from, but it's not good. It's not good.
You know, I said this in one of the groups that stuff like this doesn't surprise me because in the world now, it's not even just about football. In the world in general, everything is about money. Everything is about power. Everything is about greed. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. And Man United fans are complaining all of the time. Spurs fans are complaining all of the time. Arsenal fans are complaining all of the time about our owners saying that, you know, it's a business to them. So something like this, where you're talking about 300 mil straight out the bat, it makes total sense to these people who don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? All of these American owners that are trying to Americanize this football thing where there's no relegation. You know, you've got, apparently it's going to be a 20-team league, but there's going to be 15 teams that are just going to be immune from relegation. That just is stupid. And me personally, as a fan, I'll be honest with you, it's good when our Champions League is good because it's a short period. It comes around every so often. You might make the Champions League, you may not. So when you are playing your PSGs and your RB Leipzigs like we did this season, it's like bang, do you know what I'm saying? But then as with anything, if you have too much of it, it gets boring. Do you know what I'm saying? So if we're playing Barcelona's and this week in and week out all of the time, the novelty is going to be taken away. And for me, I don't like this because of what I know it stands for. And I'm not about when people are just trying to do things for money and greed. What are your thoughts on it, T-Dot, man?
I agree, man. I think a lot of these clubs now aren't run like football clubs. They're run as businesses. The people that are behind the clubs are not potentially genuine football fans. Do you know what I mean? They just want to make the money and get out the club, or in 10 years, 15 years, they can sell it on and double their money. And I feel like a lot of the time as well, what are we actually, what is the end result of this Super League? Do you know what I mean? What are we gonna gain from it as fans? Do you know what I mean? We're not gonna gain anything really from it, because at the end of the day, yes, our clubs are gonna be in the Super League, they're gonna have more money, but do I really want to see my team potentially get slapped up every weekend by like a PSG or something like that? But it's true though, that could happen like eventually.
That wouldn't happen to you lot, though. You
No,
lot are going to be cool. If
I was trying to be
it's
nice
going to
there.
happen, it's going to happen to Arsenal or Spurs. That's what it's going to happen
I
to.
use Chelsea for that reason, because I do. But you know what I mean? Like, do you really want to see your team getting slapped up like by these European do you know what I mean? Teams, every weekend, or do you want to have it so that you can kind of build a team properly? And then you got to think about it as well. What happens to like the quota of homegrown players that you can have? Does that change as well now? We got to think about things like that. What about grassroots, like you mentioned before as well? How does that work? What about players that want to try and get into the first team that are in the youth teams now? Are they going to be moved on now because they haven't got time to be nurturing players into the first team now because they're in the Super League? There's a lot of things that, like, it feels like to me like this whole thing hasn't really been thought through properly. Whether it has,
it has been thought through, but just from a financial standpoint.
But
like you said, they don't care about the grassroots. They don't care about the integration of, your like Mason Mounts, your Harry Winkses, your Harry Kanes, your Emil Smith Rose, your Rashfords, all these guys, like you said, they won't get a chance anymore, because when you're playing Real Madrid one week and then Liverpool the next and then Paris Saint-Germain the other week after, you haven't got time to integrate, because you obviously, the bottom line is you need to win those games. So those guys will just get thrown, and obviously if it is a cut-off, there's no FA Cups, there's no Carabao Cups, there's no other game, because we're going to be cut adrift from the rest if it goes through. So there's a lot of real problems that arise from just, when you start deep in it and thinking about it.
Gentlemen, let's just introduce our fourth guest, who is fashionably late, but we're pleased and glad to have him all the same. I've been chatting to this guy for a while, meant to get him on. He's a busy man, isn't it? He's a busy man, but we're happy to have him. Big Gunner, introduce yourself, please.
You already introduced me, man. Big Gunner, man.
Tell them man, you're doing things, man. Introduce yourself properly, man.
No, right now, man, I'm in hibernating, man. Until Arsenal win again, like, you lot don't need to find me, man.
And just, for the visual, he's got his hoodie up. He's got no Arsenal.
Yeah, trust me. No, I have my take on, man. I've got it on, but
it's under.
It's underneath today, man. It's underneath, man.
So you wasn't one of them fans celebrating that equaliser tonight, like say you won the Champions League.
Yeah, man. You have to celebrate every goal, man. Like, you don't know when you're gonna see it again, innit? And you know what? One of them ones where, when you're just happy for someone. Like, I'm happy for Nketiah as well, man. Because
fair enough, yeah.
He knows he's not good enough, innit? But he you know what? He's never let us down. He's never let us down. But he's just not good enough, innit? But when you just get them young players, man, you just have to be happy for them, innit? Because like you guys are saying now, if this whole European League goes through, we might not see another young player again, because the money they're talking, like, it's gonna mean that Arsenal, Man United, Spurs, everybody, like, they're gonna just be pumping money into signing players. So they're just gonna be looking for the best of the best. So and they're not gonna care about no homegrown quota rubbishness. They're just gonna be like, okay, we want to see the best of the best. And like Patrick was saying, if they're gonna cut, the leagues are going to want to cut these teams off, so you're not going to get no other competitions. So essentially, that's it. Like, you're stuck with this, and I don't think it will go through, because it's just too dangerous, isn't it? It's too dangerous for them. And again, we're just seeing that there's just no class to these teams, man. Like, it's all about money now. It's all about money. Like, so they rather have money than have trophies. Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, that's the only reason why Arsenal are not challenging anymore, because it's got to the stage where they came in, saw that they can make a little bit of money off them. Wenger was always making Arsenal money, so they thought, okay, I could come over, get a bit of this. He made it that finishing in Champions League places was basically a trophy, and that's how they're living. But now that we're nowhere near it, they're seeing that they're going to have to start spending, but they don't really want to spend, and that's probably why they want to get into this whole European thing, because they're just going to be pumping money out. I'm hearing like 500 million and mad talks.
300
like,
mil,
yeah, like that's just
300
that's
million.
not chicken and that's not chicken and chips money, boy. That's big money, you know. So, but again, it's when owners, like, it's not all owners, because obviously we've seen Abramovich come in and he loves football, he loves watching Chelsea, but there's been some other like R1. I don't even know who owns us. Like I've never seen them. Like I've never seen him integrated. Never see him coming on the pitch clapping fans. Like, so we know what they're about, innit? So is what it is. Just hopefully it doesn't go through, because we just hope it don't go through, man. Because it's gonna kill football, innit? It's gonna kill it.
Yeah, let us know what your feelings are in the comments, people. Let us know what you are already. I think I've not seen anybody really. I haven't seen anybody on Twitter. I haven't seen anybody in the comments that is actually for this. But I just think that because there was talk of this before. I don't know if you remember. Was it last year? It was like, I think last year.
It was at the start of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's always been murmurings. There's always been murmurings.
Yeah, that we discussed it
just before whatever, but this one seems to have a lot more legs, and it seems to, it seems to be a bit more serious.
Yeah, they've been in talks, in it, and there's some sort of letter of intent or something. But just as everybody's saying, I can't see it going through, because if UEFA and these that are saying, look, if you do this, you're not playing in the domestic league, which means there's no FA Cup, no Carabao, no Premier League. You're not playing in La Liga. You're not playing in Serie A. You're not playing in Champions League, and you possibly may not even be playing for your country, like for the players.
Yeah, when they dropped that. Yeah, that was the country one. That's what killed it, innit? Like,
you see that? That's like, and you heard Gary today. Gary's basically saying, if there is really a letter of intent, punish them now, regardless. Punish them. You know what I'm saying? And
points.
From when all of that,
they would never deduct points, because let's be real. The reason why these teams have done this is because, I hate to say it, but they're almost like above the law. Your top six are your top six, and they kind of know that they hold the power. If your Man United, your Chelsea's, your Tottenham's, your Arsenal's said we're walking away, the Premier League is fucked. Let's be honest, isn't it? So they're never going to deduct points, but they should hit them with a hefty fine, definitely, because it's not on, innit? It's not on, and it's not cool. But I don't know. I can understand. Obviously, from a glitz and glamour aspect, I can understand it, but it would only be good for a season or two, because the reason why I love the Champions League, like when Tottenham are in it and you're playing your Real Madrid, your Barcelonas, you're happy because you deserve to be there and you want to test yourself against the best. But if we're in there right now and we're struggling to be 6th or 7th or 8th, I know that we don't deserve to play your Barcelonas and your Real Madrids, and you can kind of know what way the game's going to go. If I'm being honest, not as every football game, yes, you can win the game and this and that, but realistically, we're going to hold some corn in that game, innit? We're not good enough to be playing those teams right now.
But I think that's what the whole money thing is, that it's going to be more fair, because everybody else is going to be able to pump the money into it. And it's stupid that they're talking about Arsenal qualifying for it because of their UEFA coefficient. That's like 100 years old, that we ain't been in Champions League for how many years. And you're basically like saying that we're good enough because we played in the Champions League with Thierry Henry how many years ago. It's all crazy. It's been thought, like, they thought about it well, innit? But I don't think that they thought that all the leagues were going to turn around and say, well, we'll kick you out. I think they thought they could just run this as a new Champions League. Because when they talk about changing the format of the Champions League anyway, So I think
that is going to change.
I think it's just all. From the time they stopped making Champions League about the champions, it got a bit silly anyway. Like, for me, it's the Champions League. The reason is the Champions League is because of the champions. Like, it should just be the champions, innit? But it is what it is. I don't think it will go ahead, because if it does, they're gonna have all that money, but I don't think a lot of people are gonna go to the stadiums to watch it. I don't think that many fans are gonna. I mean, there are going to be people that just love their team and going to follow it anyway. They're going to be intrigued.
I think I've sorry to say, I think you're being a bit naive. I think from a global aspect, you'll get people flying in from everywhere.
I mean, like fans over here.
Yeah, I think the fans over here will be cut adrift and they won't want to go. But you're going to get people from like South Korea, Japan, America. Yeah, it happens now. I mean, when I go to Spurs games, the amount of South Koreans that are there because Son's there. So you can only imagine when you start getting and as football brands, your Daniel Levy's, your Glazers, they will go out and buy, the best Mexican kid, the best this and that, just to appeal to these fans to get them there. So the game will just become more of a corporate or global brand. So you will see fans there, but they won't be the real authentic fans. It will just be people that just want to come, like almost when in the NBA they do a game. They do like 2 games in the UK, they do games in Paris, they do games. It will almost be like that, and you'll start seeing our games all over the place. Do you know what I mean? It will be like that. So
let's move on from this European thing because I don't think it's going to happen anyway. But thank you, gents, for the input. It's a big talking point, man. We're just going to have to see how this plays out. I'm guessing more stuff will come out from the next week or so. But yeah, I really can't see this happening, man. But if we're going to discuss something more closer to home, Chelsea have ended City's quadruple hopes, and they have advanced to the final of the FA Cup. They're going well in the Champions League. T-Dot, man, just talk to us from your perspective in terms of how well you guys are doing now since Tuchel came in, because I think this is a clear example that you can be a good manager or rubbish manager, or you could be a decent manager or great manager, because you had the same team. One manager weren't able to produce, another manager is, and I think it's gone beyond the manager bounce now. How are you feeling about your team?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think obviously when Lampard was there, things were tough, man. As a fan, you didn't enjoy the games. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was all you never knew what kind of Chelsea team was going to turn up. Whereas now you see a bit more of that kind of understanding of what the players are expected to do during the game. Defensively, we look a lot better. Even going forward, we're getting the best out of Timo Werner. Havertz has been playing kind of decent the last couple of games that he's been playing as well. So Tuchel's obviously completely different class to Lampard. That's goes without saying. That's just kind of common sense kind of thing. But at the same time as well, we need to just, there's still things that aren't right there. Do you know what I mean? Just because we're winning games or we've only lost one under him, keeping the clean sheets, there's still a lot of things that still need to gel together, especially for the likes of Werner. He played really well against Man City, but at the same time as well, there's still things about his game that's a bit off. And even like with Werner, there's a lot of players I think that need to go as well. I think we need to look at the players that will probably go in the summer. Olivier Giroud looks like he's not going to sign his contract now, so he's probably going to be on his way. Tammy Abraham was left out of the squad yesterday as well. So I think there's a lot of things that Tuchel's doing right, but at the same time, we haven't really seen a bad spell from him yet as well. So we need to, the West Brom game was a blip, which was like a one-off. But if we ever have a run of games where we start losing, then we need to start judging Tuchel from next season, I think. Because, there's going to be times where we are going to have a dip. Every team has a dip in season at some point. So how is he going to manage that? How is he going to deal with that? That's when I can start judging him. But at the moment, can't complain. Like, if someone told me after Lampard was sacked, we'd be in the Champions League semi-final, in contention for the top 4 and the FA Cup final, I'd have been like, no, this isn't happening. But
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, we've got to be realistic. Like, we weren't even in contention for any of them when Lampard was there. And if he was still here now, we wouldn't even be in them, if we're being realistic as well. Like, he just wasn't the guy that should have been at the club at the time. He should have come at a later date. But
yeah. Do you know
what I mean? So I think we're doing well, but there's still a lot to do there at the club as well. There's still a lot of, we've got to get our goalkeeper sorted. Mendy's brilliant, but he's not the answer. Thiago Silva's looking like he's on his last legs now. He's doing brilliantly, but he's on his last legs now. I think he's playing through an injury after the way he came off yesterday. But there's still a couple of things that I'm not happy with in terms of like the selections and the squad that we've got. But you know,
sorry, T-Dot, why would you say Mendy's not the answer? Because from what I've seen of him, he looks assured, he's keeping clean sheets. What are you seeing that I'm not then? So
see, he's a goalkeeper that obviously is better than Kepa, but
Yeah.
we have to remember where Kepa was. So and he was down here. Do you know what I mean? He was at the very bottom. Although he had a good game against Man City, so I'll give him that. But Mendy sometimes can't play out the back, and a prime example of that will be against Porto in the last week. There's times where he just can't play out from the back. He's like a deer in headlights kind of goalkeeper at times. He just doesn't know what to do. And I think going forward next season, if we stick to the back three, which looks like the formation that's working for us as well, he's going to have to know how to do that. I think ideally, we would have tried to get Jan Oblak if we could have, which is now a very unrealistic target because we're going to have to offload. I can't see the club spending 75 million or whatever we did on Kepa again. I don't think we're going to do that again. So we need to offload Kepa at some point, unless he comes back in and gets the contention for the number 1 jersey again.
Yeah.
But in terms of Mendy, he's a good goalkeeper, but we've got to look at what we had in place. Do you know what I mean? Like Kepa was awful before he had his little time out the team. So is he the best of the worst? Do you know what I'm saying? He's a good goalkeeper, but we can't rely on Mendy. I think the Everton game is another prime example. Didn't he give a penalty away at the Everton game?
Yeah, he cleaned someone out, didn't he?
He cleaned him out for no reason. He didn't even need to come out his goal.
Yeah.
Like, stay in the goal. That's your job. You stay there. I think I can't remember who it was. It was either might have been Christensen or Zuma. One of the two was there anyway. They were dealing with that situation at Everton, and he came out the goal. Do you know what I mean? So little things like that. I think he's just got to. You never know. He might get them out of his system and become a better player over the summer, but I doubt it very much.
Big Gunner, just following on from that, do you believe that you can sort of get away with not having the best goalkeeper and still do damage like at the other end of the field and still keep clean sheets? So do you think that is an important thing for them to address?
In maybe in the Premiership, yeah. I mean, like if we look at Spain, I would say Barcelona hadn't had a like mad, brilliant goalkeeper for a while, but they were still able to win Champions League or win the league. For me, like looking at, because goalkeepers where I've played, looking at goalkeeper, I totally agree with Mendy. He's just a good goalkeeper. For me, I've always said that Hugo Lloris, for a period of 2-3 years, was probably like the best in the Prem, possibly the best in the world. David De Gea as well.
Hugo Lloris.
Listen, the guy's so good. People, I think what it is, there's some teams where a keeper or a player can make a mistake, but it can go unnoticed. Unfortunately, at Spurs, if a keeper or Arsenal, any team like that, they can make a mistake, but it kills you. If we see how many mistakes Alisson makes, how many mistakes Ederson makes, but they win the game because this is
one of the questions why I'm asking as well, because Ederson for City, he's not a great keeper, man.
Yeah, it's like if you've got the players to get you out of the situations, then it but I think in the Premiership, especially in the Premiership, I think your keeper needs to be top draw, like, Peter Cech. When De Gea for 2, 3, 4, 5 years was mad. Peter Schmeichel, David Seaman, Courtois, like we could just keep naming. That's the level that you need to be at, I think, anyway, because that one Mendy mistake, as close as we've seen the Premiership in recent years, that a one mistake in one game could lose you the title, because at the moment it's looking quite close, or not this season, but in recent years it's looked quite close in terms of the margins that teams have been winning the league. So if Mendy does that in 2 games and loses them 6 points or whatever, that could be your title, when the top keepers will make 1 or 2 mistakes a season. But yeah, I think I said Chelsea were going to finish 3rd this year, so they're still on target for that. When Tuchel came in,
do you think that they can, from the position that they're in now? Do you think Leicester could drop down further?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just hard to tell, man. Like every time you think someone's gonna just run away with finishing 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, then they have a couple 2-game blip or whatever, and then you think the team's catching they're going to catch and then they slip up. But Chelsea haven't, like you were saying, Chelsea haven't really had a bad patch, and there's only 8 games left, so I don't think they can really have a bad patch because there's not that many games left. I also said they were going to win the Champions League, so if that happens, it's a bit mad.
You said that at the beginning of the season.
Nah, when Tuchel came in charge, I said they would win the Champions League. Yeah, no, not the start of the season. Not the start of the season.
Man, the oracle out here, boy.
It's just looking interesting. I think
Morpheus
again. When the fans come back in, I think it's gonna give certain teams advantages. I do feel like Chelsea's one of those teams, Liverpool one of those teams that Liverpool just need their fans. They need their fans in it. So next season will be a telling season, because at the moment I think when you've got, I won't say Chelsea got nothing to play for, but when you're chasing in the Premiership, it's slightly easier than starting as you're one of the teams that are supposed to win the league. So next season it's going to be like, okay, you guys have got to be challenging now with Man United, Man City and Liverpool, and that's when we're going to see how good Tuchel and the team are. So yeah, next season, I think this season he's doing an amazing job, because look what Lampard had their man doing. Like, it was just Mason Mount. That was his 11, Mason Mount in it. So we'll see next season in it.
See that comment from Daniel Wade, which is a really good comment about Chelsea should sign Martinez. He is a very good goalkeeper, probably the most underrated keeper, but he does make mistakes. I've seen games where he's made clangers. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Is Martinez better than Mendy? I'm not sure. Do you know what I mean? So.
But you know what? We always say this, Pat, about a keeper making mistakes. But I think it's just like what Big Gunner said. When keepers make a mistake, it is highlighted, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think Martinez makes that many mistakes. He made a couple the other day. I can't remember what game.
Yeah, in one game he made a few.
He made a couple that led to goals and stuff. Yeah. But other than that, he's quite assured from what I
think people that they're basing it off him playing 7 games for Arsenal. The guy was at Arsenal for 10 years. The games I can remember him actually playing for us, I remember one he conceded like 5 against Reading and conceded 4 or 5 against Liverpool. So yeah, I mean, he came in and looked assured for us. He played 7 games, and then they're saying that we should be keeping him because the guy's played 7 games in 10 years. He went on loan to several Championship teams and wasn't even lighting it up for them. So if he's not lining it up in the Championship,
do you think Leno's better than Martinez though?
Yeah, I do.
I don't, no jokes aside, I think Martinez is better than Leno. I really do.
No, I don't think he is. Personally, I don't think he is. But I mean, as you guys, we'll see, innit? We'll see. Like, he's playing for Aston Villa, so and they're doing well. They're doing well, innit? But I don't know, man. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Pat, what's your thoughts on Chelsea? Do you think that they can win the Champions League and the FA Cup double?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're obviously favourites for the FA Cup, but Leicester are no slouches, and Leicester have beat them already this season. So, and in the final, as you know, anything can happen. But I would say Chelsea are the favourites. And even when we did the views post, we also said Chelsea are going down as the favourites in that game. Champions League, you've got Real Madrid next, haven't you? So that is a tough task, but I don't know, man. Real Madrid are a tricky one because they're not the star-studded Real Madrid of old, but they still got good players. Like Benzema is still very dangerous. What's the Brazilian? Rodrigo is very dangerous. Toni Kroos is still oozes class. Modric can still do bits. So I can't call that one. I don't know which way.
You know how to win, innit? They just know how to win.
And, they just know they've done it. Those guys have got like 3 or 4 Champions Leagues in their bag as well. So it's a tough one, but Tuchel there, Chelsea have got good players. So yeah, that's a tough one. If Chelsea get through that, I don't see why not. So yeah, they could come out and do a double and have a really good season. So it's a bit mad at the moment, but they're on track to have a good season. If they don't win the Champions League and they still win the FA Cup and finish in the top 4, I think for where they were, when Lampard left them, that's a good season in my opinion. So,
Chelsea got no egos. That's a massive thing. They've got no star-studded like guy that's supposed to be like miles above everybody else. They've got no ego, so I think that works in their favor. Like when I don't know. Obviously, you guys can tell me more, but obviously they look at Pogba as the star-studded player there. Aubameyang's supposed to have a bit of an ego at Arsenal. Obviously, we know Kane doesn't have an ego, but Kane is the star-studded guy. I don't think there's anyone like that for Chelsea, which I think goes in your favour, because I don't think anyone's really going to be turning on this manager unless he just does something stupid, like starts abusing players or whatever. So I think that's going to go in your favour. I still like. It's up to Chelsea, man. I think they can do it, to be honest. But like we say about Real Madrid, they just know how to win. Real Madrid could put 11 of their just backup players, and they will know how to win. That's just that. The Champions League is their thing, in it. So I can't call it, to be honest.
It's a dance thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't call it, to be fair.
T-Dot, just before we move on from Chelsea, we've had a few comments about. We had one here from Ace P. Saying Chelsea need to look at a clinical striker for the summer. And we also had one from Sai Cole saying Chelsea should sign Lukaku. Again, what are your thoughts to that? Everyone also hit the like button as well. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Yes, T-Dot, what do you reckon?
I wouldn't say no to Lukaku, but at the same time as well, I know we've been linked with Sergio Aguero, and I'd take him. If we lose Olivier Giroud, I'd take Aguero. I know obviously his age, and I take obviously his age and that, but at the same time as well, his experience is enough. Do you know what I mean?
What, as a starter? You'll take him as a starter?
Nah, I think we could still do we've been playing with a false nine under Tuchel anyway, and I think that would work. If we're going to go for an out-and-out striker, is Lukaku the answer? Did he handle the Prem when he was at United role? I don't know. You can probably answer that one. What was that?
He was top scorer for United, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he wasn't top scorer. Like in terms of players.
He wasn't pulling up.
Me personally,
that's what I mean. He wasn't doing well for United.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that was Lukaku's fault, if I'm honest. Yeah. I think that was more about the team where we were in our development and us playing to our striker strengths. We see it now where we struggle to create chances. Don't get me wrong, Lukaku's not that player that's going to be one chance, one goal necessarily. You are going to need to create chances for him, but he is a goal scorer. And the one thing about Lukaku as well is his build-up play, and he does get involved in the game. Do you know what I'm saying? You see it. He can bounce his first touch is getting better. That's one thing I used to argue about with people. His first touch is getting better, but he can bring players into play really well, man. And he can work defenses. I think he's a good player, but whether he's the answer for Chelsea, I don't know. That's why I wondered what your thoughts were on that. But Werner going to be easy assists because his shooting is dead.
Give him time, man.
Timo is he needs to get some confidence in the summer because he just don't want to shoot no more, boy. Kaku is guaranteed goals. Look at what he done at West Brom, Everton, Inter, and International. He is top draw. Yeah, man. I think that's fair.
I don't think he's a Chelsea player though. But I don't think his style is Chelsea. Yeah, so I don't think he would suit anyone in the Premier, like any of the supposed top 6 teams. I don't think he suits any of them. To be fair, so I don't know. I like him, but I'm not sure about. Chelsea.
Okay, so let's move on, gentlemen, because Kendall put out a tweet on Twitter yesterday saying, "Should Sterling go to the Euros?" And I retweeted it, and I was like, "This is a really good question." I got hella heat from it, Pat.
I saw Kendall's tweet. Shout out to Kendall, and I said yes. The reason why is because he's had a bad season, and obviously they say the form is temporary, but Sterling has done it all on every level. So for us to turn our nose up at Sterling, for me, it'd be a bit crazy. The guy's won, leagues, cups. He's played at major tournaments for England. For me, it's a no-brainer. Is he a guaranteed starter? That probably is the better question. The answer is no. But should he be in the squad? 21-man squad, 23-man. It might even be 25 or whatever because they said there's 2 more spots because of COVID. There's no way you tell me Sterling doesn't get in the squad. to go there. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, there's always one or two mad picks that, I mean, remember when Theo Walcott went to the World Cup and he was literally on the scene, and I think he took Defoe's spot, didn't he? Everyone thought Defoe was guaranteed, and Theo took his spot. So there's always going to be one or two of those players. You're like, rah, how did he get there? But I think Sterling should get in the squad. Does he start right now? Probably not. But he's dangerous, man. And if he played to his strengths again, he's another player. The thing with Sterling is that he's a confidence player. Right now, his confidence isn't there, and you're seeing the ball bounce off him. You're seeing his decision making isn't that great. His finishing isn't that sharp. But we do know Sterling on form or Sterling with confidence is a dangerous player. So for me, he does make it.
Big Gunner, we've got a comment here saying Sterling is a shoo-in. Who is better than him in his position? No one, English in capital letters. Is that something that you agree with? Because I know I don't agree with that, but I think I might be the minority here. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think with Sterling, I think the Sterling thing is, I think there's just some. I hate using the word agenda, but for whatever reason, when there's a chance to get Sterling, they take it both hands. Like they start running mad, like going after Sterling, like we have to get this guy out of the team. But when there's players that are going through worse patches than Sterling, it just gets brushed over, innit? I think Alan Shearer went like a mad 13 or 15 game run without scoring for England, but it was still starting. At this stage, it's about experience. He's experienced playing in tournaments, like Patrick's saying. He's won the league. He's won he's won trophies. So whether the better question is, would you be starting him? That's the question, not would you be taking him. You've got to take him. I can't see why you wouldn't take him. And then if you don't take him, you're taking someone who hasn't played in a tournament, or you're bringing up someone from the dead under 21s team. Like who else are you taking if you're not taking Sterling? So yeah, the better question is, are you starting him? Are you starting on his current form? No, you're not. But are you taking him? Of course you are.
Fair enough. And you know what? I concede that is a better question. That is do you start him? So going back to this question there of nobody English is better than him in his position, do you then agree with that, saying, because he's basically saying that Sterling is the best in that position?
No, I don't agree with that, because you got your Jack Grealishes, your Sanchos, your Rashfords. I mean, the good thing about England, other than Harry Kane as the set number 9, we've got very good interchangeable options. So to say that no one's better than him in his position, I'm not sure how did you get to that point?
Yeah,
because we've got a lot of good out, like wide forward / wingers. Like even Mason Mount could play there and interlink and change. So I'm not sure how you got to that, but I
think based off scoring up until this season, he was probably the best at scoring. Like if we're talking about getting goals from that position, he was definitely the best. But obviously, we have to think about players on their current form, and on current form, is he the best in that position? Definitely isn't. So
he's still got goals. How many goals has he got this season? 9 goals, 6
9,
assists.
I think 9,
so let's go to you, Tito. What are your thoughts? Because Big Gunner just said there that, scoring goals, he's the best at it. I would argue and say that Sterling misses a lot of chances. It's just because Man City create a bag that he ends up scoring. So what's your thoughts to this whole thing? Do you think it's a Sterling agenda, or do you think that there's something in it?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's always going to be an agenda with Sterling. 100%. Doesn't matter what he does, there's always going to be an agenda. I'd take him, and I'd potentially start him as well. I don't think you got to remember, this is Sterling who's played a lot of football. Yeah, he's not hitting the numbers that he was hitting 2 seasons ago or even last season. But 9 goals, 6 assists.
So you would start Sterling over Jack Grealish in that position?
Not in all the games, but he's got a feature. He's got to play some part in the game.
So if you're going with your best English lineup now, that front, thinking if Harry Kane's playing as 9, we're going to have a 10, which is possibly going to be Mason Mount going to play behind there, and you've got the 2 wide options. Who do you go? Because Sterling likes to operate from the left. Yeah, do you put Sterling in that starting limb if you're going for the best English team?
I'd put him in. I can put him in.
Yeah, I get where T Dot's coming from though, because if you're thinking about it, it makes sense to put him in, but I'm just thinking maybe like Jadon Sancho or and obviously Rashford on the other side, because Jadon Sancho, people sleep on him because he's not in our face 24/7. But
yeah, I think that's the issue.
Out for Dortmund, who are one of the best teams in Europe, and he's always playing Champions League football as well. The guy comes with, you know, he oozes quality. He comes with the good experience that you need at this level. He's not the same household name as Sterling because we don't see him week in and week out, but he could play there if he's fit. I don't know what his fitness is saying at the moment, because I know he's been in and out with injuries, but Sterling's not a guaranteed shoe-in, but there's no way he doesn't, like you said, T-Dot, there's no way he doesn't feature.
Yeah, no, and I concede that you know, as you said, 21-man squad, and you got to take Sterling. You got to take Sterling because of the experience and all of that. But I don't know, man. I see something different in Sterling, and Pat, you may remember that I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah, we had the Sterling, just to put some context on it, we had a Sterling versus Mane debate a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
and it's been going on from there. Like, so yeah.
Even way before that, I remember when Nick was saying that he's gonna be, you know, a Ballon d'Or winner and all of this type of stuff, and I was like, I don't see that in Sterling. When I watch Sterling play, I don't see the same qualities that a lot of people see in him. Now, the thing is, I don't have an agenda against Sterling, because trust me, what Sterling stands for, I'm like, boom, I'm always behind him. I really like Sterling as a person, but his footballing ability.
But he's played for Liverpool and Man City, where that's suspect though.
Nah, not even, because I can rate Phil Foden, I can rate Kevin De Bruyne, I can rate Steven Gerrard. You know what I'm saying? I'm a football fan, but Sterling for me, he's not my type of player, and I see him missing bare chances. And for me also, and I don't know what you guys think about this, but does he really light it up for England? I don't recall him doing bits for England.
Not really. That was what I was thinking as well. Not really. Even at the last tournament, he didn't really do as well as I thought he would do. And he went into the last tournament in scintillating form, and I thought he was going to do a lot better than what he did. Yeah. So yeah, it's a tricky one.
I think with him, he creates because of you know what? Because he's unpredictability. I think that's what gets him in the team quite a bit as well, because of his crazy dribbling. Sometimes I don't know if he knows what he's gonna do in it. Like he's got that sort of.
Yeah, but can we rate that? Can we rate that seriously? Can we be rating this as football fans now?
Sometimes you've got to, because I think it's harsh to say because he's played for Man City. Because at the same time, wouldn't Man City are the only team that could probably go out and just replace Sterling? Why would they keep going with Sterling if he didn't bring anything to that team? Like, of all the teams in the Premiership, they're the one team that could replace Sterling in a blink of an eye. So he obviously brings something to that team, and he keeps playing. Like, he's going through bad times, but he keeps playing. So
he's not playing all of the time. They rotate though, isn't it? They rotate.
Yeah, he's
missed a lot of games.
Yeah, this year he's missed more games than he started now. He's
been dropped. So if he's missed a lot of games and he's still got half decent numbers, that makes it even better in his case.
He's still got 9 goals.
And he's playing less games but still getting decent numbers. Like we say, it's more of a should he be starting, not should he be guys. Should he be starting? At the same time, Grealish is even fit. Grealish at the moment. There's quite a few players that are not actually fit. So why would you risk taking players that are not 100% or may not be 100% over someone that is 100%? We don't know, man. It's a tournament as well, so anything could happen, man. You could go there, light it up. You could go there, be pants in it, but that's why you've got a squad. So for me, yeah, he's on the plane, but probably not starting.
Cool. There's a question here regarding Lingard. Does Lingard get a look in? And we've got another one from Saeed here saying Lingard ahead of Maddison. T-Dot, what are your thoughts on Messi Lingard?
It's a fair shout, man. That's a fair shout. I mean, obviously, since he's gone to West Ham, he's been in sensational form. Sensational form. You can't fault him. So over Maddison, based off of the
Maddison
form
hasn't played. He hasn't played either. Maddison. So.
Yeah, off the back of this form that he's got now, he goes. he goes.
Yeah,
And if we're basing it off form,
I don't think Maddison gets in the squad at the moment.
Yeah,
I really don't. I really don't. I don't think Maddison is in that squad right now. If you got to pick it, unless Maddison has some mad 6 or 7 games and he wins, he wins the FA Cup for them and does something mental. I don't think Maddison's in that team. I think Lingard will probably get in because it'll be crazy to deny it. He's got like 9 goals in 10 games for West Ham, and he's probably the only reason why West Ham. No, that's unfair to say he's the only reason, but he's one of the main reasons why West Ham is still in that, in that bracket of where they are right now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think Lingard has to go, man.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess that's the beauty of football as well, man, because Lingard was down and out. Do you know what I mean? And he's got a loan move to West Ham, and it just goes to show as well, man, that sometimes, like, people were saying, oh, he couldn't handle the pressure at Man United and stuff, but I don't even think it was really that. I think it's clear and it's been well documented that he's had issues in his private life with his family, and he's had to do a lot. And we know, man, like, when stuff is happening at home, that can affect you at work. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's just been given a new lease of life. Obviously, David Moyes believes in him, and he's doing well, man. And you know what? I'm really, really happy for Jesse Lingard, man. But yeah, Maddison's had a bit of an up and down season, innit? Plagued by injuries. To say he got injured towards the back end of last season, isn't it? And he missed a lot, and he just hasn't been able to get going again. So, well, we've got if we base on form, does Sterling still get the call up head of players like Saka or Greenwood? So, Mesh, I don't know where you've been, but we've been chatting about this. So I don't know where you've been, but what I would say is, you see this player here, Saka, is when people was talking about Grealish and Sancho, Rashford, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm even playing Saka ahead of Sterling. And I'm being real. I'm playing Saka ahead of Sterling.
You know what? I caught this is a really good point. I caught some heat in the WhatsApp group the other day because I said Saka is a good player, but I don't really get the hype. And a lot of people came at me saying, "Oh, you only saying that because you're a Tottenham fan and this and that." And I said, "Don't get me wrong, he's a very good young player, but I do think he's very overhyped and overrated at the moment." And then they looked at stats and this and that, and so I don't know. Saka would get in over Sterling. I don't think so. If I'm being honest, I don't think so.
Would you take him though?
And that's another question. I don't think I'll take him as well. Saka is a good utility player, and I think one of Saka's main strengths is also going to be his downfall. The fact that he can play in so many positions is brilliant, but it also means he hasn't solidified a particular position yet. So I think that's also going to come as his downfall, if you get what I mean. Is he a left winger? Is he a left forward? Is he a this? Is he a that? Where you got someone like Sterling, who at 25, 26 is definitely, we know what his best position is, and we know what he does. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tricky one. I mean, Southgate's got some very hard questions to answer over the next month or so.
What are your thoughts on, as an Arsenal fan, Big Gunner? What do you think of Saka as a player? Is he someone that you rate highly? Do you think it's too early for him? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I think we all forget that all these players that we're talking about, they're like 19 years old. Like Saka, Greenwood, all of them, they're 19 years old, 20 years old. For me, Saka, I wasn't convinced about Saka until this season. Last season, everyone was raving about him. Even at the start of the season, I wasn't really sure about him. As Patrick said, he's a very good player. I don't know. I just can't see, unless he adds goals to his game. That's what's going to keep him from really, really getting to the top. He needs to start adding a lot more goals to his game. I think the whole positional thing is more down to Arsenal just being rubbish. So it's like, it's like, okay, we're missing this position. Can you do it for us? Yes, I can. And I think in international competitions, that's probably a good thing, that someone that can play in a variety of positions. I think his finished position will be right forward, right wing, whatever you want to call it. Him cutting in, I think he will be that position. Would you start him over Sterling? No, because of just because of, obviously, like, he's Sterling, as we said, Sterling's been there and done it, and Saka hasn't. he'll be fresh. But sometimes you need that. You just need someone that nothing phases Saka. I think that's one of his best qualities, that nothing phases him, no matter who he's playing against. He's played decent against all our supposed big games this season. So he would be on the plane for me. Would he be starting over Sterling? I don't know. England, I just don't even think we can talk about him, because I don't even think Southgate knows what's going on. So it's a hard one. But yeah, for me, Sterling's starting at the moment. Sterling's still starting for me at the moment.
See, for me, what we're doing here is we're going on name. We're going on name because Sterling hasn't really produced. He hasn't produced. When we watch him, we can't hide. He's been in poor form.
Yeah,
and like what this question says here, we just base Lingard on form. By that logic, in reference to your discussion about Sterling, he should be left out because his form has been poor. But I do get the counter argument to that this is a European competition, so you do still have to bring in experience on top of form. So I hear that, but I do believe that this is the way I see football anyway, is that when you're playing for a team like Man City, generally speaking, your level is going to be higher than somebody playing for an Arsenal who are battling in 10th position. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas you're playing for a team here that will going for the quadruple. Generally speaking, you are going to have a better season than those players in that team.
I don't agree with that, to be honest. Actually, if you're good, you're good in it. I think if Harry Kane went 10 games without scoring now, you're still putting Harry Kane on that plane because you know he's gonna turn up, isn't he? Like, regardless, innit? I think there are positions that you just need to have the experience and players that have been there and done it. And I think for England, because they have nothing after Harry Kane, for me, that's why Sterling's so important, because he's been there and done it. After Harry Kane, they've literally got, who have they got? Calvert-Lewin, who's hasn't played any big tournaments, hasn't won anything, injured. Danny Ings, who you would assume is probably going to be on the plane as well, hasn't been there, hasn't done nothing either. So that's why Sterling isn't going to be important. He's going to be important for the younger players as well. So I think Sterling is more than just what he's doing on the pitch, personally. So yeah, that's my argument for Sterling, to be honest.
You know, that's a really good comment there, Saka over Lingard. I think I've been thinking about this, and to be fair, I think Saka will probably make it. And the reason why I've kind of changed my mind, even when, as you guys have been talking, is just that he's so young and he's also fearless. And sometimes you need
the fearless, fearless.
You know, as you get older, obviously there's a lot more to think about. There's a lot more going on. You kind of like start counting the clock, and Saka hasn't got that in him. When I see him, he's just ruthless and he's fearless. And sometimes you need that young, almost naivety. They just want to play and they just want to prove themselves. So for me, Saka probably will make it on that respect. I don't know about Saka over Lingard. For me, hopefully they can both go. They both deserve to be there, if you're being real. It shouldn't have to be a choice of one or the other. So we'll see.
Someone's going to miss out though.
Yeah.
Someone and even, no, we're not talking about right back now, but even in like the right back position as well, the Trent, Reece James, Saka argument.
Even you're forgetting Trippier as well, who's experienced and this and that.
Walker.
I'll be taking Trippier. People laugh at me, but I'll be taking Trippier, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's a good headache to have. As Southgate being the manager, that's a good headache to have. I can't remember the last time really thinking about an England going into a tournament with this kind of headache where it's a good one. Do you know what I mean? Where you can see all the different positions and you think, flipping out, we've got like 6 or 7 players that we can actually play.
Apart from striker, we've got lots of options. But as you said, Big Gunner, when it comes to actual strikers, we don't really have the depth and quality, do we? We've got Harry Kane, and after that,
we don't need anyone else.
I know, but you still need rotation, though, don't you? If we're being real, you still need rotation.
In the tournament, though, in the tournament.
I agree with T-Dot, man. Really, in the tournament, if your main striker's fit, then
keep him going.
He plays, man. And then I don't.
Yeah, but that's the whole issue. I mean, we all love Harry Kane, but we also know that he's one little kick on the ankle away from being out for the rest of the tournament, isn't it? So that's what the important thing is.
Well,
just have another sharp shooter in there, haven't we?
Just at the bottom now. So I wanted to. I'll come back to that question, Mesh, with regards to Phil Foden. I wanted to move on to, obviously, Harry Kane limped off in Spurs' 2-2 away draw to Everton, and you know it's poor timing, Pat, man. Do you think that Harry Kane? Because I'm thinking to myself, this is a big game in terms of what Spurs' objectives are, Jose's objectives. Do they force Kane back? Does he make the Carabao Cup, or can you see him not wanting to maybe risk not making the Euros and stuff like that?
It's a massive cause for concern, and it's just it's like typical, isn't it? It's typical. Kane's he had the little knock before, but he came back quickly, and ever since then he's looked fit. Like there's been no issues. And then all of a sudden, boom, he gets whacked. Well, it's not even that. Richarlison falls over and he rolls his ankle. It's just, and it's like, here we go. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think of the positives. He walked off. Even afterwards, when they showed him leaving the ground, he wasn't in a protective boot. He wasn't on crutches. So I'm trying to take the positives. I've been looking, updates all day until the swelling goes down, which will probably be tomorrow. They can't really assess it. I don't think it'd be. We got a game on Wednesday against Southampton. He won't be risked. But if I'm being honest, I think even if he's 60 or 70%, he'll want to play in that cup final. And he'll probably. This is the only thing. As much as you love someone who always wants to play, sometimes you just got to be real with yourself. And if you're not ready, then don't force it. Because to be fair, I think Harry Kane cost us that Champions League final when he forced himself back. And obviously Lucas, who was in scintillating form, got dropped. And Kane was a statue for the whole game. He wasn't moving. He couldn't move. And obviously we played literally Liverpool with 10 men. And, he's not the only reason why we lost that game, but he was a big reason why we were so, not on it. But yeah, Kane will play on Sunday. There's no doubt about that. Whether he's fit enough and ready enough, that's another question. It's mental. The time is bad. Kevin De Bruyne also got injured, so that is, I hate to say it, that was like a silver lining for us, because if we're without our best player, at least there's some kind of it kind of evened out. Do you know what I mean? But
until they brought on Phil Foden,
I was just about to say, man. That's the thing. They got cover, man. They got cover.
Yeah, they've got cover everywhere, innit? So I'm just trying to take the positives out of it, I guess. But yeah, I think Kane will play. Whether he's ready, only he knows. I don't know, man. It's a tough one.
I thought it was a bit of mind games, but I'm just like, what are you achieving out of it if it is mind games? Like, what would you?
What was mind
City and not the whole Kane thing, like, because I don't know, man. It seemed a bit. Obviously, he's not faking his injury, but I don't know if they wanted to make it look a bit worse than what it was, or kind of putting a bit of fear into Man City, thinking, okay, he's not going to be it. Because every time that happens, Kane just magically does some magic maneuvers, and Kane's fit within 2 days. Like, oh no, what happens? Like,
he looked like a bad one, though, man. He looked like a bad one.
No, man. Last time he had a bad one, my man was running around in the park and that, man.
Yeah, he walked off. He casually walked off.
Kane is built different, man. I don't know what he's got. He's got glass ankles, but he's got some mad recovery. And that's what makes you, those things, people laugh, but those are the things that make you world class, that the fact that you can be injured and can come back from injuries and act like nothing's happened. Like, Kane's putting up numbers, even if he's missing 10 games a season or whatever. So this is what sets Kane apart from everybody else in the world, to be fair. I think it is a little tiny bit of mind games, but I don't see what you're going to get out of it. I just hope he is fit, because we all want to see a good game against Man City. So we will hope he's fit, because I don't care what anyone says. No one wants to see the best players walk off the pitch injured. That, like, anybody that does, you don't deserve to be watching.
You're not a real football fan, innit?
Yeah. So I want to see
players play.
Yeah.
Well, you not say that. If I was in the final and I see Harry Kane walk off, I'm happy. So I'm not gonna front.
Yeah, no, but
that's football fan out the window. I'm like, wicked. You get me?
I wouldn't be happy, but I would be like, okay, because you know what? Against Chelsea, when Pulisic came off, I was like, we've won the game. When Pulisic got injured in that game, I was like,
he was on fire, though, innit?
I was like, we've won the game. Like, I wasn't celebrating, but I was like, we've won the game now. And I think, obviously, when you see Kane leave the pitch, that it's just one of those old school things, isn't it? When you used to go in the tunnel and you see like Didier Drogba or Thierry Henry and that, you sometimes you've lost the game before you've even started, innit? So I think when you're looking over and you're seeing what's it? Vinicius?
Yeah, Vinicius, big Vinny.
Yeah.
I don't think we would even start him. I think we would obviously try and play Son up there and try and false nine kind of thing. I don't see Vinny starting in a big final. I can't see it personally.
I don't know what I'm saying. I hope he does play, and I hope it doesn't kill like Mora, because I think that killed Mora for a few months. You know, I think that was a killer. So let's hope Kane's fit, man.
Yeah, can you see him make it? Because one of my bridges tried to get onto me talking about, you can't get injections won't work. He that looked really bad. He ain't gonna make the final. He's not gonna want to miss the Euros. So what do you think? Do you think the Euros plays a part in this, T-Dot, or do you think he will play?
100%. No, I think he'll play. I think he shouldn't play though, because like you said, Patrick, before the Champions League final, it was a statue. Same thing could happen. And this is no disrespect to Spurs, but they kind of need this League Cup. Do you know what I mean? Like they do. In all reality, like they need to win a trophy. They want to win a trophy as well. Not even need to. They want to win a trophy. You put your best 11 out that's fully fit. If he's not fully fit, maybe put him on the bench. Maybe bring him on during the game. Maybe if you're 1-0, 2-0 down, you bring him on. If you're winning 1-0, do you really want to risk him? Do you need to risk him?
But T-Dot, like, I think that Spurs haven't got a chance if they don't have Harry Kane. Maybe Jose thinks that as well, that we ain't got a chance if we ain't got Harry Kane. And all the fans would think that as well, because they're already slating the squad and the players. Do you know what I mean? So maybe Harry Kane, to have a chance of winning this trophy that so many want, he has to play. It's a big game for them.
I think people would have said that about like the Leeds game, though. They would have won that. Or the way we played yesterday against them, they probably would have said that we potentially didn't really stand a chance, or Leeds didn't really stand a chance. But if you take the game to City and get in there from the kickoff, you can give them a game. Do you know what I mean?
You hear that, Pat? You hear that? You can give them a game. None of this. It's City. Let's just roll out the red carpet for Manchester City.
When I said that, City they were on a mad run, innit? They won a mad run.
And then Man United stopped them. And then Man United beat them 2-0. Yeah? None of this. Everyone was, we lost to City, but it's City. I don't understand why.
No. I wasn't saying it like that, but I was just trying to say that City are Man City, and they're a good team, innit? But yeah, I
they're still running away with the league, though.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Man United won today. If City have got Aston Villa or someone, right?
Midweek, I think.
Yeah. If they drop points there, it makes it very interesting.
Yeah, Man United back in the title race now, boy.
See, this is what you lot done. This is what you lot done last time, and then you made your players crumble under the pressure, innit? So like, if you just sit there, just be humble in the background, you might actually nick it, innit? But
I'm joking, man. I don't think Man United.
Don't lie. Don't do it, man. Don't cover that reverse psychology stuff.
No. Seriously, we're 8 points behind Manchester City. We're level on games. We're 8 points behind.
Are you level on games? I thought you had a game in hand.
No, because we played today and they didn't play. We both played 31 games, and it's 8 points behind. Man United ain't in no title race. See, title's done. I reckon. I've already said it. I reckon
21 and 21 and that.
Yeah, it died. But at least we gave it a go, and we're not sitting in 9th and 10th position, and them thing they're fighting in the top half. But we are where we are, Big Gunner. We are where we are. I say it got some time. But yeah, going back to Spurs and Harry Kane. I personally just think that Harry Kane has to play in that game to give Spurs a chance, and I think that he will play. And one thing I would say, though, I don't think he was faking an injury. I think and I've got glass ankles left and right. I think when you start to get those injuries to your ankles, other players would be able to roll the ankle the same way, carry on playing, and will be fine. But the question mark over Harry Kane is because it's happened so much to his ankles now.
I think he just didn't want to risk it, innit? Plus, he didn't want to risk it, innit? It was 2 minutes to go, or whatever, innit?
I don't think it would have been stupid. It just would have been
stupid.
It's silly to carry on anyway.
Yeah.
So just come off the pitch, give yourself half a chance next week, innit?
So what do you, man, think about Pogba and his comments at Jose Mourinho, talking about basically just saying what me as a United fan, what we know anyway, and what a lot of Chelsea fans say as well. Well, what did you think about those comments there, T Dot? And what are your, I don't know what your feeling is on Jose Mourinho.
Well, yeah, I'll try and keep it light, but he just sucks the fun and the goodness out of everything that comes with a club. It starts really well with Jose. You get your first season where it's all the champagne kind of season. You do well, and then after that, you start seeing little signs that shit's gonna happen. Even now at Spurs, look at the way his press conferences are going, the way that he's talking about the club, the players. This is the season where it's gonna all fall apart. The meltdown is bubbling away. He's gonna have a meltdown soon. Watch, it's gonna happen. But in terms of Pogba, he's spot on with what he's saying. Look at the way that Jose was treating Pogba at United, and look at the way Ollie's treating him. Man management is a big thing, a big part of football that a lot of
Big
players,
part of any job really.
any job, it's
Yeah.
a fact, yeah. But even more so in football, especially at the level that they're playing, because of the spotlight that's on them as well. So you just touched on Jesse Lingard before, prime example. Look at the way probably David Moyes is managing Jesse Lingard as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's just mad to think that like a manager, the level that Jose is, hasn't got that trait in him to be able to see that. He done it at Chelsea. He done it at all the clubs that he's been at. Look at the way he treated Luke Shaw. Another example as well, Luke Shaw. And now look at the way
I've got a bit of a different view on this one. I think he hasn't changed. We've all seen he hasn't changed. One thing about Jose Mourinho, he's never changed, and football has changed. So one thing I had to respect about Alex Ferguson was knowing when to quit. Once he saw football changing and players changing and the way players were and their mentality was, he just didn't like it and he got out of it. Arsene Wenger had a chance to get out of it, but he carried on. You can't talk to players now how you could talk to players 10, 15 years ago. Like he was able, when you look at the great Chelsea team who he had, Carvalho, Terry, Drogba, SCN, all of these people, they probably could just brush those comments off and carry on, go again, because they're just winners. These players that we've got now, you say something about them, these men are balling. They've gone straight to their agent, get me a move away. I agree with everything Pogba said. I just think the timing of it was just a bit of a nothing. Why would you do that right now? I think it was just I don't think it was a silly thing to do, but I just don't think it was needed at the current time. If he needed to get it off his chest, he needed to get it off his chest, innit? But I just don't think it helped anyone. I don't think it helped Pogba. I don't think it helped Jose. I just think it was just a pointless, nothing thing to do. Even if he is, whatever he's saying is correct, it's just a nothing thing to do.
When is the right time to say it then? When is the right time?
For me, when you stop playing football.
Do you know why I think that?
Or if he's your manager, say it to his face, say it in front of everyone, so you've got your back in your own corner.
But he may have. We don't know. He may well have had these conversations with him.
No, but I'm saying, but he didn't come out in the press and do it, though, did he? That's what I'm saying. Like,
he done it. But what game was it when he went over to the fans? The fans were giving him shit after the game. I think it was.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. You see, with Pogba, he's split anyway. So again, another thing, people always looking for something to go after Pogba for it anyway. So him
but that's
coming
Jose
out
threw
and doing
under the
this,
bus, though. Jose threw him under the bus.
I think with Pogba, it was always going to be like that because he's come with that big price tag. He smiles, he dances, he does all the things that the media or people don't want to see. So regardless, like with Pogba, he was on a downer anyway because
he
what
dances,
we love to see.
That's mad though, man. That's
just the truth. Like when people talk about why they don't like somebody or whatever, they're like, because he smiles or look at his stupid hairstyle and things like that. That's not what, like, for us, that's our culture. Like, these are our normal things. Like Aubameyang's hair, I saw so much things talk about people and Aubameyang's hair. I'm like, a man's just got single plaits. Like, have you ever been to Tottenham High Road, bro? Like, you man are moving wild. Like, you've never been to Tottenham High Road. You've never been to Hackney. You've never been to South London. Like, that's just normal for us. Like, Pogba's hairstyles, that's just normal for us, isn't it? But they're always looking for something to beat a stick with certain players over. And I think Pogba, regardless of whether this is all, like, we know this is true. I think it was just a risky thing for him to do. I think it's worked in his favor, to be honest. But I think it was very risky. But I'm just glad, to be honest, that more and more people are seeing what Jose Mourinho is like, in my opinion.
And that's what I think it should be. That's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about, is it the right time? Like, comment here saying, I agree with Big Gun, I have to move correct. What is correct? Like, what is correct? Like, how can we define what is correct in this moment? Like, how can we condemn somebody speaking out? We don't know how the comments of what Jose's done to him, or how things have spiraled out of control, on how fans now look at Pogba because of Jose's comments about him being a virus. When you speak to anybody in the game and nobody talks about Pogba in that way, everybody has the utmost respect for Pogba. So you don't know how this has affected him as a person. So he's now come out and spoke. Yeah, the timing is weird. I don't understand the timing. Obviously, there's a Sky interview that's happened, and it could even be where Sky have constructed this whole thing, because I thought it was mad that they actually went and asked Jose in the interview after. I was like, no way. So I was like, these men are stirring it. But at the same time, Pogba's speaking about something that he's experienced and getting it off his chest. And I don't think that we can then start talking about people speaking out of their experiences is wrong. I think if we start going down that line, we're opening up a whole different thing.
Yeah.
People should be able to speak out of their experiences.
I agree. I just think if it came from somebody else's mouth, it would have got, I think it would have had more weight behind it. If it was a different player, I don't know. If it was Mason Mount.
If it was
Luke Shaw, yeah. But I think because it was Pogba, it just felt, we know it wasn't damage limitation, but everybody else is seeing it like that, or Pogba's this, and when Pogba's agent speaks, it's Pogba's fault. It's just always going to be Pogba's fault. And for me, I just didn't want it to look bad on him, and that was the only reason why I was questioning the time of it, because I didn't want it to look bad on him, even though we agree with everything he's saying. But I don't think, like, Mourinho's Mourinho, isn't it? He's going to find a way to worm his way out of it. Everyone forgets all the things Mourinho's done, and he's still the manager in the Premiership right now. So it is what it is, isn't it?
Pat, let me ask you a question. So Big Gunner made a point about how football has changed. Yeah. So Alex Ferguson saw this, and I agree with this as well. He won the team that we had that when he won the title, cleverly and Fletcher in central.
Yeah, mad.
You know what I mean? Like, Fergie was like, boy, I don't know if I can do this again. I'm out. Quit on a high. But the whole thing about football has changed. Me personally, I believe if you're a great manager, anything in business and anything, you got to move with the times. You got to innovate. You got to change yourself. 50 Cent has talked about that, how he had to change himself to keep himself relevant. Jose Mourinho, has he done that?
No. And it's a great analogy that you use with the 50 Cent one. I'll use another one, Madonna. She's been around for 50, that's an exaggeration. Madonna's been around for 20, 30 years, and she always reinvented herself. Yes, she's not at that giddy heights now, but how many image changes and new singles and this and that did Madonna have? Because she kept herself relevant with the current times and themes and trends. And Jose Mourinho, for all of his brilliance, it's all in the past. And as a Spurs fan, I'm seeing that. I thought he would come to us. And like I said to you, Sems, and I've said it on here, after the interview that he did with Sky when he wasn't working, he had 2 years out. He said he's assessed himself. He's reevaluated where he's gone wrong. He knows that he made mistakes. He's going to, he even broke down in the interview. He was even crying and stuff, saying he just loves the game. He wants to be back working. So when he come back, he called himself the humble one. I thought, wow, this is the new Jose. Like, we're going to get to see Jose who's basically tweaked all of his old problems, and he's going to understand how to work with players. And you've seen it's the same old shit, basically. He's just like the Dele Ali one is the perfect example, how he's ostracized Dele. Don't get me wrong, Dele has a play in this, but the way he's handled Dele just goes to show it's still the same old stuff. And he hasn't adapted with the times. And right now, there's probably 8, 9, 10 managers in the Premier League who I would rather have over Jose. So that goes to show where he is right now. And it's just me being honest. Like Graham Potter at Brighton, I would rather have Graham Potter managing my Tottenham squad than Jose Mourinho. No, you laugh, but it's true. Because Graham Potter, look what he's getting out of that Brighton team. And even though Brighton are not sitting pretty in the league, the way they attack and they attack and they attack and they still defend, if they had finishers or better players, I mean, I hate to use the XG thing, but their XG compared to the goals that they predicted goals that they should score against the goals that they do score, it's like that because they create so many chances, but they just don't have the players or the finishers. And yeah, there's just so many better managers now. The game has passed him by. Tactically, he's not the same guy. He can't do the whole charisma, riling players up and this and that like he used to do. He doesn't know how to manage people. And yeah, I just think he should have quit after he got sacked by Man United. He should have just went out then. He still won them. He still won you guys, 2 or 3 trophies. Yeah. He still had respect to a degree. But now coming to Tottenham, if he doesn't win anything, I think he's finished now, and everyone will see that.
I said that the weekend. I said he's at domestic level. He's finished now. Even if he wins the cup.
In this country, he's finished.
Yeah, he's been found out. He's done.
I think in this country, he's finished. I think he would go. No, he'll probably end up at Juventus or someone.
He should take the Portugal job.
What he really needs is he needs 11 good players. He needs 11 good players. 11 players that are all the same ability. That's the only reason. That's the only way Jose can play. At Spurs, you have 5 or 6 really good players, and then the difference between the 5 or 6 really good players and the players underneath that, he can't deal with that. And I think his arrogance is just so, he thinks he's doing a good job. And I think that's what the issue is that he really thinks he's doing a good job. And it's just not translating. I think the Danny Rose thing, that whole Amazon thing, that kind of brought everything more to light. And I think those things don't go well in the squad. And I think you're lucky that you've got players like Son and Kane that just want to play football. They don't really care about politics and the politics of football. They're just humble guys that just want to play football, score goals and win games. If they had a bit more, if they had an ego or just a bit more about them, they would have left ages ago. But they love Spurs and they want to win, so that's why they're still there. And I think that has been lucky for Spurs. But Jose Mourinho, I think, in this country, he's finished as a top level manager, but I think he will go somewhere and win again. But it's just not going to work for him over here because everybody hates him now. The media don't like him because they've got Klopp, so it's over for him, isn't it?
What I'll say on Jose is, and I'm not going to spend too much because people have heard me enough, but I said personally when he left Man United, Jose is done at domestic level anywhere, because that's just what I believe. And I think that international wise though, I think Jose could do a thing, because as you're talking there, Big Gunner, he's going to have the best of the best. A particular international team, you're going to have the best of your country playing for you, and they're playing for their country, so they're going to listen to you. Whereas at club level now, you need to have a different style. And he's the one who said that this Spurs team was a better squad that he inherited than when he inherited at Man United. Whether that was to try and gas them up or what, who knows? But for me, Jose Mourinho doesn't adapt to the times. And if Spurs go and win, if Spurs go and win the Carabao Cup next week, believe this is all about Jose. This is what I've come in and Spurs haven't won no trophy. I'm the one who's come in and delivered them a trophy. And it's all going to be about him. But then if they don't win, it's going to be the players. The players ain't good enough, X, Y, and Z. And that's what I'm not feeling. Everything is always about Jose Mourinho. And man,
he's, you know what, Sems, I know you don't want to go on too long about this, but for me, I think he's the perfect illusionist, because it's always someone else's problem apart from his. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying our Spurs squad is the best squad ever, but the way he's downplayed our team, and even when he downplayed you guys, we're not that bad, and you guys weren't that bad. You still have quality, and we still have quality, but he's made us look worse than we actually are. It's almost like a magic trick. He lets the media and the fans believe that, oh my God, Jose's doing a great job. The players are the problem, not him. But realistically, he's the problem. Because if another manager comes in, I'm sure he could do better with our proper players.
100%.
So that's the problem. He is the problem, not the players. Don't get me wrong. We do have some crap players, but Jose makes it all about like he's doing the best of the best and he's getting the best out of these guys, but he really isn't.
But look, the Torch has just jumped in. Nice to see. Bro, where's that echo come from?
You.
It wasn't before. Everything was
It's cool now.
I can't hear echo now. I can't hear.
Oh yeah, there was the echo just came. But anyway, Torch has jumped in here saying, "Give him money and he will pattern it." And that's what a lot of people are saying is, and what Big Gunner alluded to as well was saying that he needs, you know, the top ballers. But what I would counter argue to that is that on what basis are we saying this?
Yeah.
On what basis are we saying give him money, he will pattern it? Because that's what he did back in the day. These are years and years and years ago. We can't just keep living on old stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I believe. You have to look at what he's doing now, and he's not good enough. Spurs have a better squad than West Ham. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not doing good enough. T-Dot, you wanted to say something?
No, sorry, I was just gonna say I don't even know if Daniel Levy would trust him with the money, and that's just being honest.
Yeah,
I don't think he trusts him at the moment. Does he really trust him?
No,
not really.
I think what he thought was going to happen was that he's going to go there and all the Spurs players are going to be like, "Oh, I'm playing for Jose Mourinho. Like I've got a manager now that's actually won trophies. No disrespect to Poch, but I think he thought, yeah, like these guys they're gonna want to play for me. But I think a mixture of having players that are not quite up there and then having him being as a person that he is, yeah, he thinks he's doing an amazing job, and I think that's what's frightening, isn't it? His arrogance levels are so high that he actually thinks he's doing an amazing job, and it's one of those ones where Spurs need to win a trophy. If they win a trophy, if they beat Man City, it's probably going to be the worst thing for Spurs.
Yep.
Because Levy's going to be like, okay, we've won a trophy. Mourinho's still going to be thinking like, yes, I'm
the king.
I'm the king now. So it could be a bad thing. But obviously, they need a trophy. They need a trophy. No matter what trophy it is, it's going to go down in the history books as a trophy. And we know Man City always try to win it. So let's. Right. I'll say let's hope, but I don't hope that they win it. But
let's move on.
Nah, I hear you. I feel you. I know what you mean.
Let's move on before we look to wrap up soon, because we're hitting the hour and a half mark. But let's move on to your club, Big Gunner, because this is your first time on the show. Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you on. I want to get your thoughts on Arsenal, because I've heard so many other Arsenal fans, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on the process, Arteta, because the celebration I saw from certain people today, you know, on this equalize. And I don't get me wrong, you're happy, but I'll be honest, I've seen my team equalize and I'll just be like, yeah, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, in your position that you're in, I wouldn't be celebrating like that. But yeah, what's your thoughts on where your club is at the moment, the process, the draw today? Talk to us.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I think they're playing like it's the end of the season and they've got nothing to play for. For me, I always think you've got to play your best players in every match, and then take them off after you've won the match. Like, so if after 50, 60 minutes and you're winning, then you take the players off. I know he said quite a few players were feeling it from the Thursday match, so that was why they rotated. They still had enough to beat Fulham. They should be beating Fulham, but they didn't. As for the celebrating, neither here or there, innit? Like, at the moment, you get any point for Arsenal right now. Any point is a good point, man. So, they're gonna be celebrating. For fans, I think they've always got that agenda of VAR and all of those things. So it just felt, you know, when you're not doing well and you feel like decisions are going against you, that heightens everything, doesn't it? So I think people feeling like, for me, their penalty or whatever, like it's just the inconsistency. For me, it wasn't offside because you can't score with your hand, so his hand shouldn't be like, they shouldn't be marking the line from his hand. So for me, it's a perfect decision. But last week they marked it from the man's hand. So why is there inconsistencies in the same decision? but yeah, it's embarrassing. I know Fulham have picked up some good victories. I think they beat Liverpool, beat Everton this year, so they have picked up some good victories this season. But we should be smoking these lot. I don't even know half of Fulham squad, to be fair. So we should be smoking them, innit?
Is Arteta the answer, Big Gunner? What's your thoughts on Arteta?
I mean, he should never have been given a job in the first place, innit? So if you're going to give him the job, then you've got to give him everything he feels that he needs to succeed, or there was no point hiring him in the first place. Has he got everything he needed? Yes, to a certain extent. But we're trying to get rid of players that are there from Arsene Wenger days that weren't good enough for Arsene Wenger. So these guys have been there over 3 managers, if you're going to count Freddie Ljungberg. Half of these guys are not good enough. Obviously, whatever's going on with Aubameyang, we will never know what's going on, whether that's off the pitch or on the pitch. I honestly don't know what that's all about. There's been questionable decisions, but he's learning on the job. So what do we expect to happen, innit? Like, I don't know what Arsenal fans are expecting. Like, if a guy's going to come and learn on the job, we're going to get inconsistencies. I think in 5 years' time, he probably would have been the man, but right now he's not the man, innit? Like, we're seeing what Tuchel's doing. I was going to say we're seeing what Mourinho's doing, but you know, you need someone that's at least had 5 or 6 years in top division football for a club of Arsenal size, innit? But it is what it is, man. I said we was going to finish 7th or 8th this season. We're one position off that, so for me, it's been what I was expecting, man.
Yeah, Pat, you want to throw some salt on the wounds for them Arsenal?
No, not really. Obviously, like Jason, shout out to Jay Nova, Jay Alex, the other, resident pundit. He basically, when we drew with Everton, he was like, "Yeah, that's a great point for Arsenal," and I was like, "What?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, "Nah, like, you ain't got nothing to do with this. Like, stay out of this thing." Man. And he was like, "No, this is a good point." So I was thinking, please don't win, because then he's gonna come back at me, obviously. But Fulham were holding out, and I was like, "Please, Fulham, just hold on." You know what I mean? They scored. You lot scored in like the 97th minute of 7 minutes extra time, and you deserved your goal. Don't get me wrong. You were putting pressure on Fulham, but I have a gripe with Loftus-Cheek, man. The guy comes from Chelsea. He was meant to be a quality player. When he come on with 10, 15 minutes to go, he was just fumbling the ball, getting the ball away, running. Decision-making was on 0 out of 100. If the guy would have just kept the ball, Fulham would have won that game easily, and he could have probably created 1 or 2 more chances. But he come on and was just awful. And I was like, "Wow, this is why you're out on loan now."
Came from the guy with the Bamyang here, innit?
Yeah,
he put it out of play. He put it out for a corner when he had all the time in the world.
So Arsenal deserved the draw, but Fulham, I feel for Fulham, man. I feel for Scotty Parker as well, because they were on such a good run, and then now they've out of the last 6 games they've lost 5 and drawn 1 today. Yeah. I think it's just a bit too far for them now, but
it is.
Yeah, it's
Burnley's got a game in hand as well over them still.
Oh, there you go. So,
look at this. West Brom have got 2 games in hand over them, and they're only 3 points behind. So now it's not even about Fulham getting out of the bottom 3. Are they going to get further deeper into the bottom 3 now?
I like Scotty Parker, to be fair as well. It's what there's always at least one game a season where you play a team and you like the other manager, and Scotty Parker.
Yeah,
for me, he's one of those guys, man. And I think Newcastle job is perfect for him, man. I think if they could get rid of Mike Ashley and get rid of Brucey, get Scotty Parker out there, man, I think it'd be a good job for him, man.
Yeah, that's a good shout. That'd be the next step for him. I think like Scotty Parker would be great at like a Newcastle or a Brighton, because you can see he's definitely got something about him. He's a good manager.
He needs players, man. He needs players with it.
As a neutral T-Dot, do you think that Arsenal can win the Europa? We've got here Europa League or bust. Do you think that they can win this year's Europa League?
Boy, it'd be tough. It'll be tough for them. Ideally, I think United will probably win that, but obviously Arsenal got a chance. They're still in it, so I don't know. But I think in terms of Arsenal, they're in transition. at the moment, and I think Arteta probably isn't the guy to get them through that transition. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like you said before, if they had the right manager or he came back in 5 years' time, I think he probably would do all right there, because he can't be that bad. He's been learning under Pep, which is, do you know what I mean? He's got to give you some kind of accolade just doing that. But yeah, the Europa League's going to be tough, because I think out of those two teams, I mean, I'm sure realistically, the final should be United Arsenal, and if it is that, then I think United would do Arsenal in the final. But I think maybe that's what they're playing for. Maybe Arsenal looking at it now like this is our one chance to get something out this season. Now,
Yeah, they're getting the Champions League if they win that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it's a major trophy as well.
So I think that's what they're probably looking at.
Like if they win that,
it's
they
a
go
very
from having a poor season to a great season. Do you know what I mean? That will.
I know Mourinho done it with Man United, but it's just such a risky thing to do, man. Like, it's a mad risk that, I mean, like, it's a risk you got to take, innit? But I know, like, Patrick was laughing, but like, if we would have won today, we would have been like 2 points off Everton. So I think you just got to go.
Us. Yeah, you would have been 2 points behind us.
So I think it's just a risky thing to do, and I think if you want to be a top team, you've got to go for everything that you're in. I hate this resting players rubbish. Win the game first, then bring the players off, man. Unless you've got the squad like Man City to do it, and at the moment it looks like Chelsea have got the squad to do it as well.
Yeah, I think with Arsenal now, it's a thing where when Man United we were close close to Champions League, and then we just said, yeah, let's go for the just go for the Europa. Whereas with Arsenal, you're not close to the Champions League, so maybe that's the driver behind it, that we can maybe drop out of. Say that again.
I say we're close to Europe, not Champions League.
Yeah,
so
but it might be maybe a lot of teams think maybe let's drop out of the Europa for a season, don't have them games. And then like what Chelsea did a few seasons back, and then went and did a madness. So maybe that could be the thinking.
I don't think anyone does it on purpose. But I think if your club ever gets to a position where they're thinking that you're done out here, man, like you can't be thinking we should come out of Europe for a season to make ourselves better. I think once you've gone into that mentality, you're going backwards. You're taking a massive backward step, and you shouldn't even be thinking like that. So. I hate the Europa League just for the way they've changed it and put in 1 million games just to get to this point. Now it's just a stupid thing to do, but it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know what's going on at Arsenal, to be honest. So it's all fun and games, isn't it? It's all fun and games, man. so you can do is laugh at it. Like at the end of the day, unless you're winning the league or winning the Champions League, for me, like you're not doing good enough, innit? For me personally, like, so it is what it is right now, man.
Yeah, there's not doing good enough, and then there's not doing good enough, innit?
Yeah,
and I think a
club essentially,
like Arsenal shouldn't be.
Once you finish out of top four, it doesn't. For me, once you finish out of top four, it doesn't matter where you finish. Because for me personally,
I think that's a bit of a that's a bit of a cop out.
As an Arsenal fan, if you finish out of top four, you haven't done what you're supposed to do. So wherever you finish after that isn't good enough. If you finish fifth, for me, that's not good enough. So if you finish fifth or finish 17th, obviously you would finish, but it's for me, regardless, like it's in the record books, like no one's gonna remember it. Like,
but you don't think there's anything in you finishing 6th or 5th versus finishing 10th or 11th? There's nothing.
No, I mean, only because you're going into Europe if you finish there. But I'm saying the fine margins are they're not great, because for me we shouldn't be playing Europa League football. So once we finished out of the top four, we haven't done good enough. That's just the way I see it. Like we haven't done good enough. It's a shit season. If you finish out of the top four, if you get into Europa League, that's not good enough. You've had a shit season. So
would you say that your season is? So suppose you finish 10th or 11th this season, but win the Europa League, would you class that as a good season?
Because we're in the Champions League, you're gonna have to say it's a good season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna remember that we finished 10th. They're gonna be like, we made the Champions League.
You won the Europa League and you got Champions League.
Yeah, so it's just shit. Whichever way you look at it, it's just a shit show, isn't it? So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Wicked. Nice one, Manners. Thank you for the comment. Appreciate it.
What we got here? 7th to 8th gets Europa Conference League. 5th, 6th gets Europa. Oh gosh. Yeah, man. So I didn't even really want to bother chat about United. You know, United are United, innit? We're second in the league, but as what a little bit like how you're probably feeling, Big Gunner. You know, for me, if we're not winning the Premier League, finishing second is nothing special. You know what I mean? But finishing top 4, I think is a good achievement. I think what you realize, or me as a fan, what I realized was I used to laugh at Arsenal fans when they were celebrating finishing 4th or top 4 consecutively, like under Wenger. But I think what you realize, it's not an easy thing. Wenger did his thing, man, getting you lot top 4 consistently over and over and over again. Wenger did his thing, man. And now, you know, obviously, just playing in Champions League football is important. So you have to be finishing top 4. So, you know, I can take credit.
You know
for
what?
that.
It's important if your team. So if we look at it, let's just take Spurs and Arsenal, who both had Champions League football in the last 7-8 years. If you're reinvesting the money that you're getting from Champions League football, to me it makes sense. But the way our clubs are run, we're not even reinvesting that. So for me, it's not even making no sense because we're spending more money on players when we're out of the Champions League. Like we've actually spent more on players when we've been out of the Champions League. So unless you have the right, like what Chelsea have got going, where Man City, where their owners know what they need and just go out and do the business and reinvest the money that they do get, although they're rich anyway, but they're still reinvesting the money that they're making. It's just pointless, man. It's pointless. But and then to get into the Champions League to get smashed every week as well, like it's just mad. It's just mad.
Yeah, I hear that. You want to compete, you don't just want to just lose at the first hurdle and then end up in the Europa again. It's
like
a bit,
you guys, isn't it? It's a bit mad.
It's a bit dead. It's a bit dead, but you know, we get another crack at it next season, innit? We get another crack.
Good luck, man. Good luck, man. Leipzig guys, easy, man.
Anyway, gents, we're gonna wrap up now, man. Thank you very much for coming through today on a Sunday night. Big Gunner, let them know where they can find you, please, and everything that you're associated with.
Yeah, it's just the away days, man, on YouTube and Instagram and on Twitter. Just Arsenal content, just interviewing people out there as well, that are involved in football. So like interviewing loads of female players at the moment, and they're all dropping once a week. People that I see as role models out there. Just loads of different content, man. Got a couple shows coming up. Hopefully, once me and Sips can get that phone call in, we will have a little show that we're gonna just bring out just once every while as well. Just trying to elevate people, man. It's just about bettering ourselves, isn't it? Like I'm just here. I don't have much of a following, but as much as I can help anyone, and if anyone calls me to be on their show, I'll be there, man. I'm not special in it. Like I just want to help everyone in it. So if I can return the favor to anyone, then just find me on the away days, and we could do this, man.
Wicked, man. And as I said, yeah, we will get that conversation in. Hit me up. Hit me up, man. Hit me up. T-Dot, please, where can they find you as well, man? Let them people know. And also people, anybody that watches this, follow them, like, subscribe to their channels, please, man. As he said, it doesn't hurt to go and like and subscribe to people's things, man. So go and support the people, them. Anyway, T-Dot, let them know, please.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So obviously we co-host on Play to the Whistle podcast. So you can follow us at the PTTW podcast, Instagram, Twitter. Just started a YouTube channel as well. So obviously, like Sam says, just click and subscribe if you can. Appreciate that. Also the co-host of From the Shed End, which is a Chelsea podcast. So if you're a Chelsea fan, that's up and running now. New podcast. So yeah, go and again, like, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff as well. And then my personal page, my music page, which is what I do mainly as well, at t._producer. All the stuff's on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that as well. So yeah, man. And again, obviously, big you guys up for letting me come back on. Big up Views, Sems, Patrick, man. Everyone else that's part of the Views team, man. Appreciate it.
Wicked. And what I'll do as well is, because I've noticed that I've put your @s for your Twitter handles. So Big Gunner, the away days, that's something different then, yeah?
No, it's just like that's just the name of my channel, isn't it?
Okay, all right. So that's the name of
it. So I changed it from already.
That's the name of the YouTube channel, yeah.
Yeah, so every time that you'll find that's the name of the YouTube.
Time. All right, so I'm gonna add that into the link, people, and also I'm gonna add in T-Dot's the PTTW podcast as well to the link, so you can just click on there and follow the people. Them, Mr. Tyrant.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm part of the Views franchise, so you lot should know me. If you're tuning in, you see me all the time. But yeah, my Twitter handle is Patrick Tyrant, all one word, PATRICKTYRANT, and you'll see it on here. And yeah, shout me on Twitter. We always mingle and chop it up. I'm always after a dusty Arsenal fan or two, putting them back in their place. And giving them a reality check after their fixtures. So yeah, man, shout me. All good.
Wicked. Yeah, Lambs, we've done chat about that. The Super League, no one's really for it. But we're gonna have to wrap up now, people. I'm Semps. You know where you can find me. But this is Everyone's a Pundit, and these were my pundits. Until next week, people, we are out. Peace and bless.